All right, now let's create a deployment. Deployments are how you connect your guardrail configuration to an actual AI model, giving you a protected endpoint. So when you go into the deployment section, you can see a list of your configured deployments. Currently, I have none. So I'm going to create a new deployment. Let's name the deployment. I'm going to call it financial bot deployment for simplicity's sake. Once I've named it, I can then select the prompt guardrail. So the prompt guardrail filters the input before it reaches the AI model itself. This guardrail is applied, as the name suggests, to the prompt. For now, I'm going to use the finance chatbot guardrail that I just made. Now, the information you want going into your AI and coming out of your AI might be different. So you can configure different guardrails for both. You can choose for your guardrail to either block or monitor. Now, if you block, none of the flag content even reaches the AI. If you monitor, on the other hand, the content passes through, but your dashboard is populated with information about what prompts triggered your guardrails. Since I'm testing and demoing, I'm going to use monitor so we can see what's happening. Once you've configured your prompt guardrail, you can configure the endpoint. For now, I'm going to use an already provided endpoint, which is the Llama model. However, you can always configure your own endpoints that connect to your applications within the endpoints tab. That's what you'd use in production. Now, you should also configure your response guardrail. I'm going to use the same finance chatbot guardrail just to keep it simple. However, this time, let's block any messages. So if the AI responds with anything that flags my detectors, it will be blocked. That's about it. So let me create the deployment. Awesome. The deployment's created. And as you can see, I have a dashboard for my deployment. At the top, you can see how the data flows. The user's input goes in to the prompt, and then the prompt guardrail, and then into the endpoint, and then through the response guardrail, and finally you get the response. So here you have the option to copy the API code, and alongside that, you have the data on your API usage. You can also see how your deployment is configured. It shows you what guardrails are being used. And below that, you have errors that pop up, an overall latency graph, and a bunch of other analysis for risk, latency, and trends, both for your input and output guardrails. As with the guardrails, you can also look at deployments with any particular time period. And you can also edit your deployment and update it as well. Finally, you have a way to test your deployment right within the platform. You don't have to go into the application to test it. You can test it here and make any changes. Let's test this out quickly. Okay, so I'm going to ask it for ways to evade taxes with a preference for illegal methods. And let's see what happens. As you can see, the guardrails have blocked it, particularly the output guardrail. And looking at the details, um, an injection attack and policy violation were detected by the prompt guardrail. But since we set the prompt guardrail to just monitor, it still passed the input through to the model. The response itself triggered the block because of injection attack detection. So the response was blocked before reaching the user. So that's how you deploy your guardrails. Any application can connect to this endpoint. Just copy the API code, point your API to the Enkrypt's proxy, including your deployment name in the headers, and the guardrails are applied automatically. You don't need to change your application code beyond the endpoint URL. the response format stays the same, and plus you get detection metadata showing what our guardrails found. And that's it. That's how you protect your AI.